Here to discuss Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to Africa is Gil Haskel, head of the Foreign Ministry's International Development Cooperation Department, MASHAV, and Israel's former ambassador to Kenya and Uganda. Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
We just saw some incredible footage of the Ugandan army giving our Prime Minister a guard of honour, only 40 years after the same army supported the terrorists at the Entebbe crisis. When did Uganda become a friendly country to Israel?
First of all, I'm not sure it's the same army, because after the regime of Idi Amin, Uganda underwent a coup, actually, by a group that President Museveni of today belonged to, and there's a whole transformation of the system and of the army. But it is true that it's in a way chilling to see the same Ugandan soldiers saluting the Israeli Prime Minister. I would say that immediately after the toppling down of Idi Amin in 1977, Uganda started changing its nature towards the world and towards Israel as well.
Is it fair to characterize Uganda as a fully fledged ally of Israel, or where do we stand?
Today, Uganda is a highly friendly country towards Israel. I think in Africa it is considered a full-fledged ally of the State of Israel. I myself was privileged enough to be the Israeli ambassador to Uganda, and I had also a salute from the same soldiers as an ambassador, and President Museveni is one of the most friendliest presidents on the African continents today.
Okay, well, looking forward, how can we expect the Prime Minister's high-profile visit to impact on Israel-Africa relations in future?
Well, I think today in general is a very emotional day for anybody who follows Israeli-African relations. The fact that, first of all, we're marking a 40th anniversary of the raid on Entebbe, which is a landmark in Israeli-African relations, no matter in which way you look at them. And if you combine that with the fact that an Israeli Prime Minister with a huge delegation has landed on African soil today for the first time in 30 years, I think this combination of realpolitik and the heritage of Entebbe is highly significant for Israeli-African relations.
What sort of geopolitical shifts are we seeing then that could be driving this change?
Well, the geopolitical shifts have not started today. I think they started in the mid-90s when the African countries decided to re-establish diplomatic relations with Israel, full force ahead. And today we see almost the entire African continent very, very friendly towards Israel. I think the significance of this visit today is showing the seriousness of Israel in its intentions to strengthen the relations with Africa in all spheres.
Why do we think the Prime Minister chose to visit these countries specifically and not, for example, Cameroon, with which we also enjoy warm relations?
You know, there's a joke when you ask a gentleman why does he kiss a lady's hand, he says, well, we have to start somewhere. So I think you have to start once re-entering Africa on the highest political levels by an Israeli leader. You have to start somewhere. And these four East African, I would say in local terms, superpowers, emerging economies, very important political players in the African Union and in the Horn of Africa and East Africa region. And I think that these four countries should have been the first, but definitely not the last. And we hope to see the Prime Minister visiting West Africa and the southern part of Africa. And I think this is a very significant day in the history of Israel and that continent.
Okay, let's take a brief look at the content of Israel's relations with these countries. You head Israel's International Agency for International Development. What sort of works is Israel leading in sub-Saharan Africa?
Well, MASHAV, the Israeli Agency for International Development Cooperation, and the Israeli Aid Program will celebrate its 60th anniversary next year.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. And up until today, we've trained more than 270,000 trainees in Israel and abroad in the developing world, a third out of which are from Africa. So more or less 100,000 Africans have been trained by Israelis, starting from 1957, when Golda Meir first visited as a foreign minister the continent of Africa. We try to bring the Israeli expertise into our relations with these countries, which is very unique, because if you think of it, Israel is the only country that has developed itself from scratch.
So what are we talking? Aid programs, infrastructure work, agricultural assistance?
We're doing all. We're doing first and foremost agricultural assistance. I would say that Africa today has four main challenges: food insecurity, water insecurity, border insecurity, and personal insecurity. And in all these spheres, we are working very, very fiercely with our African allies and friends in order to bring the Israeli experience and to tackle these challenges, meaning to bring food security to Africa, water security, so you'll have water flowing for all African citizens. You'll have border security, which is a crucial growing problem in Africa, and personal security, which again is a problem that is one of the hurdles in the development of Africa today.
Ambassador, thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you.
Thank you.